Just a friendly reminder that the opinions expressed on this show are not worth a Canadian penny, so disregard anything you hear that might get anyone in trouble. And despite some of the great ideas you may hear, don't try them at home. Go to a friend's house instead.
It's time to get a gun. That's what I've been thinking. Well, I could afford one. And if I did just a little less drinking, time to put something between me and the sun. When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.
Hello and welcome to episode 180 of Slam Fire Radio for November 11th, 2016. I am one of your hosts, Trevor.
I'm another one of your hosts, Matthew.
I'm Adriel.
And I'm Kelly.
You guys did that perfectly. And I think it's the first time somebody didn't flub it up. That's awesome. Somebody always throws in the nickname when you're not supposed to. I just left it hanging.
Well, this is our second or third take.
It sounded like you were kind of curious as to who you were. You're like, I'm Trevor, maybe? I'm not sure. So I was like, I'm Matthew, maybe?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Totally, yeah.
Adriel's like, I'm Adriel. And Kelly's like, and I'm Kelly. She's confident. She knows who she is. We, not so much.
No, because I didn't know where I was going. The for latte, wrong. I signed
Just left it clean and simple. Just Trevor.
Well, it was a little bit of Trevor.
I'm Trevor, I think, maybe.
You ran with it,
and
and
it worked.
Yeah.
Right up till right now.
Now, do you suppose we'll nail our ending?
No. No, we probably won't.
All right. Well, Matthew, why don't you tell us what you did this week in walking with a gun?
Well, I actually went flying with a gun.
Flew with a gun, even better.
I finally did it. I went on my low-budget fly-in hunting trip.
Armed flying.
Yeah. See, at that, I don't know if I'm allowed to say because
I was really looking forward to saying it, and I wanted to get it out before the other ones. You went armed flying.
Armed flying. All right, so I'm now a fighter pilot.
Sure.
Logic holds, right? I flew in a plane with a gun.
Low altitude, really slow fighter pilot.
I'm an A-10.
You're a flying ace.
Ooh.
You're not an ace till you shoot down how many bad guys?
Five.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
They've got that many ducks, right?
At least.
Yeah.
Duck ace.
All right. So you're flying in your plane, you're shooting at ducks from the ground, or
Basically.
from the sky at the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. One in each hand kind of thing. Just kind of, no. As per Canadian...
Hold on. Is there controls in the back?
Yeah.
So
No, you control the stick with your knees. You just kind of move it side to
stop,
side.
Adriel. No. Here's what's going to happen. Well, you come up, all of us, right? Here's what Matthew's going to do. He's going to fly from the back, and we're each going to take turns shooting from his airplane from the front.
That makes sense.
Yeah, the prop is in the back. Matthew's flying behind us. What could go wrong?
That prop just kicks those shells out and conveniently shatters them in the wind.
And we're going to use ARs with brass catching bags. I'm so tired of working with amateurs. All right, Matthew.
Unfortunately, that falls under the same law as no loaded firearms on a motorized
vehicle. A motor vehicle, whether it's on the ground or not, huh?
Unfortunately, so I could maybe turn off the engine. That's the only thing I could kind of think about. Maybe if the engine was off, but probably still not. So anyway, I did it the legal way. The gun was cased and unloaded while I flew, and then when I landed, took it out and went for a walk. So I didn't see anything, but I did hear something. Somebody else shot a shotgun off within a mile of me, so maybe somebody else got a bird. I don't know. Whatever. It was still fun, though. But more interesting for the people who are listening is that I have a takedown Volk-Hortzen 1022 clone.
Sweet.
Now, is this a gun manufactured by Volk-Hortzen, or is it a Ruger 1022 with a pile of Volk-Hortzen parts on it? Because it's my understanding that Volk-Hortzen is putting out a 1022 clone. Is that correct?
That's correct. As far as I can tell, this is not a 1022 in any way. It has 1022 parts, but the receiver is not a 1022, and it's not like a receiver inside of a chassis, as far as I can tell. I mean, I've only had it for a day now, so I haven't really torn it apart yet.
Those are all good things, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Does it have that cool Boyd stock on it?
It does.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I fell in love with this gun in Season 3 of Top Shot when Dustin Ellerman won, and he's shooting golf balls at 100 yards with a 22, and everybody's like, that shot can't be done. I'm like, yeah, Matthew can do it, 22 Plinkster can do it, and I guess this Dustin clown could do it. And that's what they were using for a couple of the competitions was that Volquartsen 22. And man, it's like the perfect semi-auto 22.
It looks very nice. It's very comfortable to shoulder.
Yep.
What's that?
After the 795, of course.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, that just goes without saying. And there will be a head-to-head between the 795 and the Volquartsen.
Absolutely. And I think probably it's the $200 $795 has met its match with the $600 Volquartsen.
I would think probably. I would hope so anyway. I hope this Volquartsen's more accurate just because of the cost involved.
Yeah, the barrel.
Yeah. Well, it's a carbon fiber wrapped barrel. It's very, very swanky. It's very nice. Anyway, I do have to thank Matt for loaning it to me, and not my buddy Matt, but another Matt. Apparently, Edmundston is full of Matts and Matthews, so another Matt.
There's one at every door.
There is one at every. That's good. You're off the show.
No. No.
Anyhow, he and I met in town because he bought some stuff from Press Check from me, and while I was standing in the parking lot at Tim Hortons chatting with him, he's like, "Hey, do you want a Volquartsen 1022 takedown rifle to review on your YouTube channel? I heard you talking about it on the show that you said you wanted some more gun content on your YouTube channel." I'm like, "Yes." So he opens up his trunk and hands it to me. So now I've got it, and I told him he might get it back someday. So it's really nice. I really like it. He obviously watches my YouTube channel as well regularly because on it is the Bushnell AR-22 scope that I reviewed for Filthy last year.
Nice.
So it's it's very well set up. I'm looking forward to getting this out to the range and doing a comprehensive review on it and getting some shooting done with it. So big, huge shout out to Matt, and I'll take very good care of it, and I will probably give it back someday.
So far, you've given them all back.
So far.
I think if this one beats the 1022, he's probably going to get if this one beats your 795, he'll probably get the 795 back instead.
I'll just give him back the 795 and just feign ignorance. I'm pretty sure that's what you gave me there, man. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
hey,
look.
Heard it on a podcast. He gave you a 795.
Yeah, I heard it first. Here, right now.
You may
there
have
it is.
said it
Done.
first.
All right, then. Let's move on to what you did.
I didn't get a lot done. I did.
Oh yeah, no, pansy. Why not?
Because I've been laid up.
What? What? Like you had a hernia operation or something?
Yeah. Well, after my carpal tunnel operation, yeah.
Right.
So it's been back-to-back surgeries.
Whatever. It's technically wrist to front, but whatever.
You're technically correct. Yeah. Doesn't change the fact that you're an a-hole. But anyway, you are correct.
You didn't have an operation on that, did you?
No, not yet. No. So, yeah. Anyway, no shooting, obviously, but I did miss out on. Well, I missed out on something. There's one thing I'm happy I missed out on, and something I'm unhappy I missed out on. I missed out on the end of year range cleanup. So,
that's too bad.
It is too bad because these guys aren't OCD. When I go looking for stuff next year to build SummerSlam, it's going to be everywhere. When I put stuff away, there's a place for everything, and everything has its place. And this is where
that's why I like you.
I know, right? It's like,
yeah.
And you always know where stuff is, Kelly, because everything is always in the same place year after year. Because
Exactly.
I make sure of that. These guys are like, holy crap, it's October, it's going to snow tomorrow. We need to just put it wherever we can. It's like they lift up the carpet and they sweep the dirt under the rug. Like that's what that. Anyway, I'm sure it was fine. I missed that, but
No, it's not.
I unfortunately didn't go to the meeting this week. And the listeners who have been listening for a long time and know of our escapades at the Rescuers Gun Club have heard me talk about the late Ronnie DeGroot and his wife Carol DeGroot, who died tragically in a motorcycle accident a year ago in June. The family has settled the estate, and Ronnie and his wife Carol left a $20,000 donation to the gun club. So and they left a $20,000 donation to the Rescuers Snowmobile Club. Now, the Rescuers Snowmobile Club was where the proceeds from the Steel Challenge that we had. We started an annual Steel Challenge in Ronnie's name, and the first one was this year. Matthew, you were there. It was a good time. We made a donation to the Rescuers Snowmobile Club in Ronnie's name from this year's Steel Challenge, and it was over $600. So it was pretty good. That's a chunk of change for a small little weekend Steel Challenge. We had people come up from down south, and it was a good time. So $40,000 the man gave to his two hobbies when he died. which just blows my mind. And who knows what else he did. He was always doing, and even in death, he was still doing. So it just blew my mind. But unfortunately, the meeting was on Wednesday, and I wasn't feeling up to going. It was only a week after my surgery, and there was a nice presentation with a big check and photos, and it sucked that I missed it. But it's what's important is that, you know, Ronnie, man, $20,000 to the gun club. So we're gonna put
that's
that
amazing.
It really is. It really is. Not. I mean, not a lot of people when they die can take care of everything and then have $40,000 left over to give to their hobbies. Just blows my mind. So, and we spent a lot of money last year on the range and on SummerSlam because it was the 10th anniversary. So the money is going to go to good use. It's going to help rebuild our bank accounts. We've got 4 bank accounts in the gun club for the different sections and things. So it was a no-brainer. We just divided the amount by 4 and everybody's happy. So yeah, so I just want to share that with the listeners because they had, you know, some of them who are close to us and close to the show and stuff knew the Ronnie story, and it just keeps going. So what else? I bought another 1911. I'm not sure if I had mentioned that yet or not. I bought it from a Milsurp buddy of, it's a long time shooting buddy of Filthy's who was out of the game and then got back into the game. And stop me if I told this before, but I went over to visit this guy with Filthy, and I was looking at his Milsurp collection, and it was a phenomenal Milsurp collection. I posted a pretty cool pic of me on Facebook holding an SMLE Lee Enfield with a bayonet on it that was like 2.5 feet long. It was ridiculous. It was a World War I era Enfield. He had so many different Mosin Nagants. And believe it or not, he was able to maintain my attention while looking at these Mosins. He had an SVT-40 and Mausers. So this is a Swedish Mauser. This is a Mauser, that Mauser, that. I lost track. I literally lost track of how many Mausers the man had. Enfields, Garand, like just a crazy Milsurp collection. And then when he pulled out the 1911, I was like, thank God. I was like, wait a second. I just, you know, I just got excited over a 1911.
Not a typical response from the first lot.
No, right? Like if it had been a Glock, I probably would have like dry humped his leg or something. It was just no more Mosins, no more Mausers. Anyway, so I'm looking at it, he goes, yeah, I think I might sell it. I'm like, oh. So this was an STI Spartan in 45. So they make a Spartan and they make a Trojan. The Trojan is done 100% in-house in Texas, where STI is based out of. The Spartan, they actually incorporate lowers or frames from Arms Corps, which is out of the Philippines. So STI brings in these lower price, lower grade 1911 frames, and then they do the finishing work and put an upper on them. And so that's what he had. He had the Spartan, which is not as expensive as a Trojan, but still a very nice 1911. And I got it for almost half from today's retail price. So obviously when he bought it, he didn't pay today's retail price. It was a smoking deal. And I let him give me the price, and I was happy with it. And like I had a number in my mind, he threw the number at me, and I was like, "Yep, sold." So I bought that, and then quickly sold it. And I used the money to buy another AR-15. So it kind of all balances out. So I bought a 1911 and bought an AR-15. The AR-15 is awesome. It's all the components are Stag, with the exception of the barrel, and all the furniture is Magpul MOE stuff. And I just love it. It kind of looks like an M4, but without the carry handle sight. It's got a Magpul backup sight on it. It's so light, so like it doesn't have a whole bunch of bells and whistles and stuff hanging off of it. I think it's going to replace my NEA. I think my NEA is going to get the boot, and it's going to be like the quote unquote service AR, and then I've got my competition AR. So, but I may also sell the Stag and the NEA and replace them both with one 16.5-inch Daniel Defense and call it good. And then I bought a Mossberg 930 JM Pro. So this is a semi-automatic 12-gauge shotgun. And the JM Pro is the Jerry Michalik edition of their 930. So it's kind of like you could compare it to the Remington Versamax Tactical. It's got like a 22-inch barrel, kind of some extended controls. It's meant for 3-gun competition, but it's still not quite there. Like, it's going to need to be opened up and the lifter welded and stuff like that. But it's a pretty cool gun. The only downside to it, of course, is it's only a 3.5-inch chamber. Or sorry, it's a 3-inch chamber as opposed to a. Is that 3-inch Magnum? Yeah, it's a 3-inch Magnum chamber as opposed to a 3.5-inch chamber. So it's only going to hold 8 total instead of 9. But I've shot a couple of them. Really like them, and I've got the Remington pump and the Remington semi, the Mossberg pump, and now I'll have the Mossberg semi. So that's kind of cool.
So then, what are you going to do with the 930? So if you've got your Versamax for 3 gun, what are you going to do with the 930?
The 930 may actually replace the Versamax. Versamax got a 26-inch barrel, and although it's not bad, like, it's far from unwieldy, especially
it's too long.
I know, right? It's just too long. I mean, I'm not shooting trap. It doesn't have to swing or point naturally or anything like that. It's being aimed with the sights at targets, and it had some feeding issues, and I repaired that by radiusing the chamber, and then it had some feeding issues with cheap ammo. I ran it in a match in hell. Oh yeah, I went to a 3-gun. Yeah, I went and shot a 3-gun match. The last weekend of October, I went to a 2-day 3-gun match with a couple of the listeners of the show, Andy Shan, Stephen Casey, and I went down there with Muffin, and we stayed at Andy's place. Oh my God, I ate the most amazing pulled pork. But anyway, it's a gun show. But yeah, no. Oh my God. Anyway, so we shot a 3-gun. So I brought my Versamax with me, and I lent it to another shooter, and I didn't run cheap Winchester Universal through it this time. What was happening was the lifter would lift the shell, and the rim on the shell would drag inside the receiver, and the lifter didn't have enough spring tension to actually lift it. And so just to tap on the lifter from the bottom, no problem. It would just knock it right in the chamber. Very rare. It's only happened like 3 times in the whole lifespan of the gun after about almost 2,000 rounds of 12-gauge ammo. It happened once during the match when Bill Anderson from PI was running the gun, and it was on the slug stage, and I don't know what brand of slugs he had, but my Winchester slugs were fine, and all the ammo that I brought was fine. I was using Winchester ammo, but not the cheap Universal stuff. The ammo is very, very, very old, but it wasn't cheap ammo. So no more reliability issues. Plus, there's a lifter that you can get that is a full-length lifter. It doesn't have the groove cut out of the front. It actually has a concave dip in the front of the lifter, so it centers the shell and chambers it correctly. So I'm going to buy that lifter for it, and as long as you put, but I want my gun to run. Matthew, you and I have talked about this before. Like, we want all of our guns to run the cheapest ammo possible, because that's like the epitome of reliability. If it'll run junk, it's a good gun.
Yep.
Right? If you got to buy premium ammo,
what's the point?
What's the point? You want to shoot a lot, but you can't because you're spending top dollar on premium ammo. So now, that being said, my reloads made out of old Federal brass work great. So anyway, it's probably Adriel going to replace my Versamax, the 930 will, even though I'm going to lose 1 round of capacity. 1 round, whatever. You start reloading almost like right away anyway. There was one crazy stage. Have you ever done this, Adriel? Because I know you shoot a lot of 3-gun. You shoot more than we do. We're lucky, Matthew and I. Like, Matthew didn't even get it in a 3-gun match this year, did you, Matthew?
Nope, it rained.
But, yeah, well, we did our little thing, but I had to travel 6 hours to go to a 3-gun match, Adriel. Like, that's how desperate I was for 3-gun. There was a stage there, Adriel. 75 rounds in one stage of the 3 firearms, and there were 2 targets at 220 meters.
Those targets were for rifle or shotgun slug?
No, it was rifle.
That's all right.
Yeah, but 75 rounds in one stage.
Yeah,
we had to use the 500-second rule.
Yeah,
it was taking 20 minutes per competitor from the beep to all right, next guy, get ready.
So what were the competitors good, or was because so the reason why I say this is because we've got stages. I looked at the round count on the one we're doing on Saturday coming up here, and I think one of the stages is gotta have right around 60-70 rounds in it, And we've got 2 of those. They're not 20 minutes. We don't have 200 yards.
We
rather.
had to use a golf cart, right? Like the problem wasn't the 75 rounds. It was the distance that had to be covered to do all the scoring and patching. We had a team on radios.
No, for the far stuff, you got to set up. So you get those steel targets that display the orange behind the white when you hit them, and that's what you got to do for your long range stuff. No, like you'd never want to be patching targets at 200 yards because
they were steel.
They were steel,
but they were steel. And what was happening was you had a guy on binos calling the shots if you hit them. One guy in my squad, I can't speak for the whole match, I think the whole match, but for sure I can only attest to my squad. One guy offhand hit both 220-meter targets with 1 shot each. Bang, ting, bang, ting. And that was Muffin. And shooting, guess what he was shooting? You buggers we were having this debate back and forth about what's more accurate, a long-barreled AR or a short-barreled AR. He did it with a $150 scope on a Mark 18, which is a 10.3-inch barrel. He's the only guy in my whole squad, and there was 3 or 4 really strong shooters in that squad who didn't get those hits. And Muffin got them 1 shot, 1 kill with a 10.3-inch barrel.
Standing.
Yeah. Lucky bugger. Anyway, moving on. And then I spent part of the day, loading magazines and packing guns. I'm going to Filthy's tomorrow. It's a long weekend, so Christina's not working, and I'm still off sick for the surgery thing. So we're going to hit the road tomorrow, go to Filthy's, and hit the range in the morning with Fred and Mike. And I've got both my Tanfoglios. Oh, yeah, another new gun I got. I picked up a Stock 3 Extreme, which is one of the Extreme line pistols that Eric Raffel has kissed or made love to or whatever he did to make them quote-unquote extreme. I've got the limited custom extreme in 40, and then they make 2 production guns, a stock 2 and a stock 3, and the stock 3 is a longer sight radius and a rail on the bottom, not a bull barrel where the stock 2 has the bull barrel. Horrible trigger. Horrible. This is like a $2,200 firearm, right? Like it's supposed to be the epitome of production pistols in the sport of IPSC. And the trigger is garbage. So I bought an extreme pistol. I traded for another gun or whatever, but I've got to do work to it. I've got to rip it all apart. I got to polish it, and I've got to change the springs in it. And it just bugs me when you buy these top of the line pistols and they suck out of the box. So anyway, my 2 Tanfoglio Extremes are coming. My 2 1911s are going, and I'm going to sight in that new AR, and I'm going to sight in finally my VZ58 and test the comp that I bought at the charity shoot this summer in Ontario. I bought one of the Sparta tactical comps for the VZ58 and 223 from Simon at S&J Hardware. So I'm looking forward to getting out and testing that comp and sighting that in. So. Yeah, that's it for me. How about you, Adriel? What have you been up to?
I'm glad you only had I remember your first words, and I said, "Trevor, it's your turn." And you're like, "Oh, I only did a little bit. I don't have very much to talk about." No,
listen. The Jamesons helped me.
I've listened. Trust me, I've listened.
Tonight I'm blaming the Jamesons.
Well, let's see. Okay, I went hunting. I went hunting for whitetail deer. Yeah. You can hear the Jamesons in the background there. I went hunting for whitetail deer. I saw a pile of muleys and a pile of moose and rabbits and hares, technically. Someone corrected me on one of my posts.
Totally. It's the gross partridge thing, yeah.
Yep. But I didn't actually see any whitetails, so it was just for the weekend, right? I wanted to head out and scout a little bit because I hadn't checked my game cam, and the land I'm hunting on is my parents, and they said, yeah, we haven't seen any whitetails around. So I was like, oh man, I mean, maybe there's none there. But I took my oldest boy out. We went hunting. We saw the muleys. He saw the muleys. We saw a bunch of hares. And since I didn't really see very many whitetails otherwise, I went back to the house and we grabbed my 22 that my grandma gave me. It's a Savage 6, I think. It doesn't there's no model number stamped on it or anything like that. It's just a semi-automatic Savage 22. and we went back out and shot a bunch of hares and ate them. So that was kind of our weekend. Kind of cool. I put up a YouTube video of all the different weird game and that kind of thing that showed up on the cam. I didn't put the muleys, but there's a pile on there too. There are some whitetails there, just they're being cagey. So I'll see if I get any the week that I'm hunting, which will be right around the 20th there.
Question.
Yep.
Can you buy a muley tag or is it a draw?
It's a draw. My buddy Will's got one, so he might come out and shoot that big muley buck that I saw and was looking at it from about 100 yards away, and I was like, I need a tag. I need my muley tag, but I didn't get one this year, so they're safe from me. I went to my local gun club meeting. I don't know, nothing really of note. They're a typical gun club. Yes, I second that, and yes, let's put the financials behind us and whatnot. One interesting thing that our gun club is doing. So we're suing the CFO over
the club is.
Yeah, the club is. Yeah.
How much money does your club have in the bank when they can take the government to court?
Let's see. Well, we've got 1,400 members, and our membership fee is $160 a year. So
gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess
I'd rather see it spent on suing the CFO than frickin' flower beds. Tell you that right now.
We don't have any flower beds, so that sounds like there's a lot of hate behind that. But
it's a BC thing, I guess.
Well, we have them here.
Yeah, but did you spend $40,000 on them?
No.
Oh boy.
I know a club in BC that did.
Oh boy.
I don't care how much money your club has. If you spend $40,000 on flowers, you should be strung up.
It's too much. Well, they did ask for more. They said they were asking, saying like, "Hey, we should bump it up to 200," but it was voted down.
Okay, so why the lawsuit? Because we should have sued the bastards, but we didn't.
The lawsuit is specifically around the CFO trying to put time restrictions on the approvals. So saying, yes, we approve your long range. It has an expiry of 2 years. And then 2 years down the line, they say, oh, you know what? Now we've changed our standards. Now you need ground baffles. Now you need barrel restrictors. Now you need this or that.
Yeah, see, we were in that mess before when we had Doyle. Doyle had shut us down. And then when we got the work done and he came back and he re-inspected and then approved us, he said, normally it's 5 years, but I'm only going to do you for 2. I'll be back in 2 more years. Mm-hmm. Why? 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 If that bay over there is good and passed, it's good for 5. This one failed, and now it's good and it passes. Why not certify it for 5? Where do you get off certifying it for only 2?
You got it. So that's what the Chaz Gun Club is suing the government or the CFO over. Good. I don't like. They said that there's no other club doing that specific thing yet. So hopefully we set some precedents with this and make them stick to what they need to stick to, well, right? So
and when we were closed down, when the bays didn't pass or whatever, I mean there was a lot of animosity and frankly hatred between the CFO and the president at the time. Now there's the president and the CFO have both changed. They're not the same people anymore. So I don't want anyone listening to think that this is a current issue. That these people are out of the picture now. But we were supposed to be given the avenue to appeal legally. Apparently, like it's against the law to not provide us with the avenue to appeal, and they didn't, and we requested it. And when we requested the appeal process information, we were told, and I quote, "Wouldn't your efforts and time be better spent getting your range up to standard?" So He put it like that was a denial in writing, and we spent $8,000 to work on the range when we technically didn't have to. And a lot of members were peeved. They were like, "We should have went after them for that money." Never happened.
Yeah. You're not likely to get the money, but you are likely to, you might win if you challenge them. Anyways, that's what Chaz is up to. Let's see. Oh, and I think on the last show I mentioned I was going to pick up a Beretta 96.
Brigadier, yeah.
Yeah, so I picked it up. I've got it in my hands right now. This thing's got a smooth double action trigger. Like, I can't believe how smooth it is. It's heavy, but it's
smooth 18 pounds, yeah.
It glides right through. And
So you got the Brigadier, which is like a $600 gun, and I have the $2,200 gun, and my double action sucks.
No, the Brigadier I think is the same price as the 92. It's just it's got a heavier slide on it. It's got a rubber wraparound grip, and the sights themselves are dovetailed in, so you can replace the sights if you want to.
I think I got that sold. If you want it sold. No, Snuffleupagus keeps saying he needs a 40 caliber pistol.
Nobody needs a 40 caliber pistol.
Nobody.
Snuffleupagus thinks he does. Who am I to argue with a man who wants to buy a gun? And he's got a 92, and the sick bastard loves it. What goes better with a 92?
Stainless?
No, exactly right.
This one's stainless.
I know.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Fancy pants. The grip is too short for me. This is like, I don't know who designed these Beretta pistols, but
I think it was a Mason because the grip is based off of a brick.
I thought that was a Glock. Anyways, that's all I've been up into in guns. What about you, Kelly?
I went to the range this week. Awesome.
There you go.
Yeah, it's been a month. So we went to the range on Sunday. Just shot the Glock, getting back into it. And then I quickly came home and cleaned all my guns because they were filthy. And...
They were a clone trooper?
They were a clone trooper. Yes, they were. So cleaned the guns, which was good because I haven't cleaned it since I had the 1020. I'm talking about the 1022, by the way. Since I had Dave from SFRC, he drilled a hole in the back of it, and so I hadn't cleaned it since he did that. So did that and cleaned the Glock. Everything's nice and sparkly and shiny now, and running a lot better because it's not filthy. So sorry, filthy.
Are you saying that filthy doesn't run good?
Oh, he runs excellent. You should see him on a bike too.
Until he has to go fast. Thank you, Matthew.
Yeah. And other than that, I went to SFRC, checked out what they had. They didn't have everything spectacular that I needed. I need more.
Sounds like you go there pretty much every week.
Every week.
Every week. It's part of my Saturday routine. I go to SFRC, see what they have on sale, look at Christmas presents, different things like that. So, yep.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyways, but that's what I did. And do you remember I was telling you about the whole thing about the United Way at work, the fundraiser thing?
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyways,
because it went up and running, and I have some people bidding on these. Like, they're actually bidding on these things. I have two women saying, "Bring it!" You know, they're bidding against each other to go to the range. So I thought it was really cool. It was one of the first things bid on. It we're running it until the end of the month, but yeah. So lots of people interested in going to the range that don't or haven't gone to the range.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought so. That's it. I did nothing else.
Trevor, you're hosting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I am.
Yeah, you, Trevor.
Are you?
I was busy.
Are you asleep?
No, I was Facebooking.
Get off of Facebook.
I was Facebooking the executive producer. She does get, priority.
Oh, Jules on Facebook?
Yeah. So. All right, upcoming
Hi,
events.
Jules.
The active killer defense doesn't work like that. She doesn't hear you through my Facebook. Anyway, all right, active killer defense course with our buddy Rick Woods. It will take place in December 4th. Who did this? On December 4th. On December 4th, on December 4th, Sunday, 2016. Oh my God, my LCD is hurting. Anyway, there will be an active killer defense course in London, Ontario, on December 4th, 2016. People can sign up through the fireartssolution.ca or activekillerdefense.com. American spelling of defense.
With an S.
Oh, with an S instead of a... Yeah, I would know the difference. Somebody corrected me on patients today. I wrote hospital patients instead of I'm losing my patience. So I unfriended the a-hole. News. Black Friday's coming up, kids. So it's time to start scoping places like Horizon. Lots of sales. Ooh.
There's lots of places with some. There's lots of places with some.
Rule. You write the
sales.
graph, read the graph.
I think we need a new co-host to take over. Anyway.
Yeah, no. All right, so Black Friday's coming up, and there are lots of sales on the horizon. Listen, because I know a website called the Horizon. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, it's not news. It happens every year. Sorry, Matthew.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, let's
Ready?
keep going.
Ready? Okay. So I have an update on the Frack Cancer charity shoot that occurred last weekend. I reached out to Andrew tonight, who is one of the hosts or the lead host of the Canadian Patriot podcast, to see how it went down. It was a success. They had 48 people. Now, put this in context. We're on our way to the 7th annual Canadian Podcast Charity Shoot, and it took 7 years. How many people did we have last year, Kelly?
Participating or who showed up?
Who paid?
Who paid? Yeah, we had, I think it was about 70 people that paid.
70 people. And before that, we had about, I think the best we've had before that was close to 40, maybe, and under that. So, and we promote it all year long. These guys had 48 people, and they promoted it for only a couple of weeks. So that's outstanding. Andrew takes full credit because he thinks he's awesome, and what are you going to do? It's fine. He can think that. And but he is, and they are, and they did a fantastic job. 48 people, and they raised $3,500. So
good for them.
Yeah, good for them. Congratulations, and it's a very, very worthy cause. So thanks to everyone who participated and who supported that. And I hope people went on to GoFundMe and kicked in some cash who couldn't be there. So yeah, and maybe we'll for our charity shoot, we always make that an option as well. People who can't make it often send us EMTs, so that option will also be available for this year. And we do have some charity shoot updates. It's changing. It's not going to be in London. It may be in Guelph, and if that doesn't work, I've offered to take it back to New Brunswick. So hopefully it will stay in Ontario, and I have no reason to think it won't. But if it doesn't, if things get to be too complicated or whatever, then we'll have her back in New Brunswick. So. But as of right now, the lead on our 7th annual Canadian Podcast Charity Shoot will be the host of Canadian Patriot Podcasts, with help from the rest of us because it's all of our shoot. But they're going to be the lead on it, so it'll be cool. Main topic, Adriel.
I'd like to welcome onto the show Doc Wesson from the Gun Nation podcast. Welcome, Doc.
How's it going, eh? You knew what was going to happen. Come on.
I did. Yeah. I knew
episode. What was it you said, Matt? Episode 3 or 7? What was on? Yeah. See, y'all don't invite me back.
I'm pretty sure I can't count that high, so it probably wasn't me who said it.
Yeah, it was me, and I think it was 3, and I think it was kind of. And the reason why it sticks out, Doc, is because up to that point, the show wasn't called Slamfire, and we changed the name right after that episode, and it seemed like...
It's because we didn't want you to come back, and we wanted to kind of shake you off our trail.
It's like changing your telephone number so that she doesn't call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or he, Kelly.
Okay.
Give him a fake one to start with. Come on, guys.
There you go. So, yeah. It's been quite a while because we are now
Anyways, we just had a little bit of news.
Is there a delay or something, Adriel, or are you just being a dick on purpose? I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I thought it'd be interesting to talk about what the fallout would be for gun owners, because there's it looks like a lot of really good news. What do you think is the biggest thing that's going to come out of this?
Well, first off, everybody can
come out of what? What are we even talking about? Oh, right, the election, right? And Doc is on to talk about Trump's gun policies.
Because I'm not Canadian.
We could tell from the accent.
Yeah, no, it's that I've got that New England, New York accent.
I thought Boston. I was going for Boston.
Yeah.
No.
But well, I mean, now, what does it mean? It means people can go dig up their weapons out of their yards, out in the woods. You can bring them back in now, right? Because I think people were really getting nervous. And it's funny you ask, because I've got some friends, obviously, that are like the rest of us that are, dealers, and they have ordered overstock because of both ammo and firearms, especially, the black rifles. Because, what happened was they were thinking it's going to be like what it was the last time. They were going to think, oh my gosh, we've got this coming in. She being Hillary, She had already come in and said, behind closed doors, so to speak, and was recorded that she thought that the Supreme Court was wrong on the Second Amendment and basically was wanting to do kind of what Obama had said. He was, with his pen in his phone, was going to try to, I guess, pretty much go with some type of executive fiat to really limit things considerably. But, in the U.S., no. You're liable to have some kind of civil unrest there if something like that happens. But, people were getting excited about it. I think now there's overstock maybe in some dealers. I'm hoping that means lower prices actually. Yeah. So which is a refreshing, aspect coming from an election because, normally you get into it. It's like, oh my gosh, you better keep what you got. And I say bury stuff. I mean, that's kind of stuff that happens sometimes, people geocaching or whatever to try to make sure that they've got something hidden out. Cause I've always wondered, how are they going to come take these things?
Well, they can't take them in Canada. They don't have the manpower. They rely on the public to,
just turn it in
to cooperate. Yeah. So in the United States with 330 million people, they can't knock on everybody's door and say, give us your guns. And as you said, guns are falling out of boats and horrible canoe accidents. Up here in Canada, Mike from Canmore, he buys like everything off the internet all the time that you have for sale. Mm-hmm. So, things get sold, things get lost, things fall out of canoes. There's just no way to do it. Right. I've got a question for you before Adriel goes down the Donald Trump gun policy path.
Yeah.
What now? You alluded to things that Hillary apparently said behind closed doors, was recorded, blah blah blah. But could you touch upon what her official policy was that she campaigned on with regards to gun control?
Yeah, once again, I guess it's who she was talking to, but it's the common sense gun regulations is what they're saying. They always have that mantra where they're talking about closing the gun show loophole, which is not, that's a myth. There is no gun show loophole in the United States. Technically, you can go to a gun show, and if somebody's in the parking lot, or they have, and I do this all the time, if there's just a normal citizen that's coming to the gun show and he has a firearm, he can sell that firearm without any type of, we don't have a registration, but typically you have permits that you would purchase new firearms with, or if you're a dealer, you have to require a purchase permit unless you have a concealed carry permit. Then that takes care of you having to go as a citizen down to the sheriff's department in the county that you live in, getting a purchase permit, having to wait, I think it's like the 7 days. Then you got to go back and pick it up after they clear you. And then you have to take that piece of paper with you when you go to purchase a firearm.
Now that's dealer specific, correct?
Correct.
And that will vary from state to state, or is that pretty much a federal
It's pretty much all over. Yeah,
okay.
It's pretty much all over.
You can't just order them in the mail?
No. You can order one, but you got to have
Kennedy.
it. Yeah, you've got, right. The NFA closed all that, right? The National Firearms Act. So what you're looking at as far as ordering, you have to, like, I'll buy them online all the time. And when I buy them, I have to have them sent from a dealer there to a dealer here, and then I have to go pick it up. And typically it's like about $20 or so to do the transfer.
I knew about that, and I knew about FFLs, but I didn't know about this. If I walk into a gun shop, I can't just walk out with a gun after I do a background check?
Well, if you have your concealed carry permit in North Carolina, and I don't know about the other states, but I take my concealed carry permit into a gun shop, I can walk out with one.
Right.
With that, I'll just fill the paperwork out and go.
But if I don't have the CCW, I need
you have to go to in North Carolina, you'll have to go to your sheriff, down to the sheriff's department and fill out a permit to purchase request.
Right.
They do I guess a background check on you. It takes about 7 days. You go pick it up, and in turn you come back, and then you can purchase your thing. So typically what people will do if they're buying it from a gun shop, go to the gun shop, see what they want to get, place the get the order, or have them get it ready for you. Wait the 7, go get your permit thing, come back and bring it with you to pick it up. And that's basically.
Now,
do you have to do that every time?
Yeah. If you don't have a CCW, you sure do.
And
so if you want to buy, if you're planning on buying, for the next few months, like 10 or 15, you got to do it each time. Unless I think that you can only have 2 on hand at a time. It's been so long. I got my concealed carry permit back in 90, whenever it first came out. I was like one of the first ones in North Carolina to get it. So it was like 95, I think. So I've not had to do that since 95, and of course, when I was purchasing before, I didn't have the money to go buy more than one or two at a time. So I think that you're only allowed 2 permits like that at a time on hand.
Now, is that specific to handguns or is that all firearms?
That's handguns. Now,
Okay,
yeah. I'm sorry. I apologize.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So for rifles now, it's different, right? So like long guns, your shotguns, you can go and fill out your paperwork and leave. I apologize. You're right about that. I was just thinking more on the handgun side.
So I can air 15 out the door, but I can't get a Glock 19 out the door.
Exactly.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
Precisely.
Okay, so Hillary's platform that she campaigned on for gun control was like the same model that Bill had, kind of thing.
Yeah. It was the same thing that's been going on with Obama, so to speak. And of course, they always say, look, nobody's going to come take your hunting rifles and your firearms and for self-protection and all this. And, the same mantra that they chant every time. And then, of course, behind closed doors. And that's part of this thing that was coming out because there were recordings from where people that were close in her camp stating, and caught her, I think, stating somebody had a mic and caught her basically stating that the Second Amendment was that they were wrong about it, the Supreme Court, and I'm referring to basically DC versus Heller, that it's in essence a situation where the Supreme Court is wrong on the Second Amendment, and in essence the Second Amendment shouldn't exist.
Now, the case that you just quoted, that's the one that got CCW, right?
Not for us. That allowed the people in Washington D.C. That was Dick Heller in Washington D.C. to what it did for the country was basically set the ground rules that basically the militia or the person that's carrying the firearm has the ability to have it across the nation, so to speak.
Okay.
Because in Washington D.C. you could have a firearm, but you couldn't have it loaded. It had to be in the house. You couldn't take it out of the house. I don't know all the specifics about DC's laws, but it made it worthless. I mean, get a baseball bat, so to speak. And so it was very hard to actually own one, to get one, period. And so now, it allowed that to be the case where they could have them, be able to keep them loaded and that kind of thing too. So go to the gun range and shoot with them. So that's, and I remember, I'm not going to be quoting it properly, but I remember immediately after the DC Heller thing came up, they challenged it in a certain way, and they were going to, make it hard for gun dealers. I think they already had to be in that area, and then basically say that you can't go purchase it out of the DC area and bring it back. So they were trying to regulate it kind of behind, the scenes a little bit, but it's a mess. It's always a mess. They always continue to challenge and try to get little bits and pieces from you. And, but the good thing is we've made some good strides, I guess, in the U.S. Like I said, the DC Heller case was really huge for the whole country. And, we've got a lot of states now that have concealed carry as a shall issue instead of a may issue. States like even Chicago, up in Illinois, it's amazing. You never would think that they would have gone that route, but now they have concealed carry. And of course, New Jersey, they still had, I don't know if they do now, but they still had some funny regulations on ammo where you could only carry ball ammo, you couldn't carry hollow points. Just crazy stuff, and the truth of it is, it's so simple. If you look at all the statistics across the entire country in each state and each area, the well-armed areas are the ones that are the safest. And they try to come up with all kinds of reasons why, because people are purchasing it because you can get it so easy in other areas, and they're bringing them back to the bad crime areas, that kind of stuff. When the truth is, there's no law whatsoever that's keeping that from happening. If you're a criminal and you want to get a firearm, you can get a firearm. It's just like that, and the gun show loopholes, those things, they were trying to say that we need to close that. And that's one of the stance, getting back to what you were asking about Hillary, one of the things about the gun show loopholes. There's really not a loophole. You can go to a gun show. You can, and like I'll walk around. You can find some real good bargains from very good firearms, from people that are just regular guys walking around in there with rifles strung all over their shoulders, or pistols, revolvers, and all crammed down in their holsters and in their pants and all. And they're walking around, and you can get some good deals because they're wanting to sell them. And also some very specialized stuff that you can purchase, but you can buy it from them. And as long as it's not like, something that requires has a silencer on it, or in essence has, is a fully automatic weapon, then you can just purchase it from them, right there on the floor. And there's nothing, stating that, but you can do that also by calling the guy up on the phone and going to his house to get it. So there's no loophole as far as that's concerned. What it sounds like, and they try to make it out this way, is that you can walk right up to a dealer in a gun show and just say, hey, I want to buy this gun, and you can purchase it and walk out. Well, that's just like if you were to go to a gun store and do that, and you cannot do that.
The dealer's still going to do the background check and all that good stuff.
Exactly.
And the citizen selling to another citizen, like you said, whether a felon buys it in the parking lot or buys it in a parking lot at a Walmart 2 towns over where there is no gun show going on, that's not a gun show loophole.
No, not at all. And the odds are they're not even going to buy it in that manner, based on regular firearms, or from people like us that go to gun shows. Or wants to sell it, because we're gonna demand a price that's fitting for what it is, because we know what it is. We live the life. But they're looking to get something, in essence, and I'm going by stuff that I've read, where they pick up something cheap because they want to have it because of whatever reason. I mean, or they'll steal it, and so that's the kind of thing that they're getting all wrong. And the thing about that is they need to crack down on the criminality of that, stealing the firearm and using it for bad intent. That's where you get it. I mean, just having it, it's not going to jump out and do anything. It's the person, obviously, that's doing it.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think there's a couple of policies that Trump is looking for going after that kind of thing. Now, just talking a little bit about that. What are some of the proposals that are coming forward here that you're really excited about?
Well, Trump, first off, his sons, they hunt. They're really into, firearms, and obviously are NRA members and love the Second Amendment. Trump at one point, I never really was. I was more of a Cruz guy. I know a lot of people are going to quit listening because I said that now, but I'm a very conservative person, and I want conservatism, constitutional conservatism all across the board. That's the way I look at it. He is an NRA member, obviously, but so was John Kerry, when he ran. I mean, that's just one of the things if they decide they're going to run for president, they may join. Now, he may have been one in the past for a long time, but will he stick to the things we're getting ready to talk about, or will he not? I think he will, because he's run on that platform, and there's a whole lot of people that'd be very angry. And I think he truly believes in it. But there's also some things he kind of said, during the campaign. Like one time, for instance, he was talking about Hillary and she's going to take the guns, and, she doesn't believe in the Second Amendment, but hey, maybe the NRA people and the gun people will do that. Well, wait a minute. I thought he was an NRA person and he was a gun person. So that kind of shocked some people in the way he said that, but he's come out really strong lately about it. But some of the things he's talking about, like the first thing was ending the gun-free zones on military bases, which to me, it makes absolutely no sense why they did that in the first place. Of all the places you would think they were going to have firearms all over the place, would be a military base. I mean, and back, when I was growing up, I had uncles or whatever that were military, go visit them, and everybody's got something strapped to them just about, or carrying a rifle or whatever. But
it's like one of the only places you totally expected to see guns.
Right. I mean, isn't that the point? I mean, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But so that's one. Another one is the Hearing Protection Act. There's an act out now. I can give you.
I heard of this one.
And in essence, it's basically for people that want to shoot to protect their hearing, and it's going through, and it's a good thing for us. And this is an opportunity to legalize silencers, where you don't have to pay the extra money and to get the silencer and blah blah blah.
Doc,
Uh-huh.
you're professional. You're a gun owner. You've been doing this for 10 years now.
Mhm.
We don't use the term silencer. This is the real world. This isn't Hollywood. I appreciate it. Can will work. Can will work.
Can.
I also would have accepted suppressor, but let's go with can.
You'll have to excuse Trevor. He's our social justice warrior here. He's the one that makes
Sorry,
sure that everybody's politically correct with the terminology.
The thing was,
we
I was
don't want to
gonna
use
say
the
cans.
wrong word.
I was going to say cans, but I didn't know if Kelly would be happy about that or not.
It's okay, Doc. We all knew what you were talking about, but Trevor had to come on and be, I know a little bit more than you, Doc, even though I'm Canadian.
Yeah.
But it is suppressor, not silencer, just so you know.
Well, the reason I'm saying that is because it's how he presented it.
Oh.
He presented it as legalizing silencers, not suppressors.
Well, I'll give him a call later. And
That's why I'm saying it that way. So anyway, when he's got it listed that way as well, so I didn't want to confuse people. So I just, sorry.
So it's okay, man.
And
It
I won't
really
say
is.
clip instead of magazine.
easy.
But anyway, so the suppressors, thank you. So and it's ridiculous. I mean, they've had that for such. I guess it came in basically during the NFA back in the '60s, and to do away with that would make all the sense in the world. It's you can hunt and actually be able to hear your game instead of have some type of attenuating earphones, or if you don't want to, but it makes all the sense in the world to have that, is to protect your hearing, right?
Well, and you look at a country like or Great Britain, that whole region, I think, for sure England, lots of gun control. And one of the things they control is the sound of your gun, and they require you to have a suppressor.
Yeah, it's totally ridiculous. I mean, they require you to have that, right?
Yeah.
But here, I think the whole point was, well, if it's silent, then you can get away with shooting somebody or whatever, and people won't hear it. They don't quite understand it as usual.
Yeah.
But
because when the gun makes noise, the police always catch the suspect right at the moment. Always.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
It's awesome. They just show up, they materialize, and there they are. But
I mean, I'm really excited about the U.S. getting suppressors legalized all across the board, because like one of the big things I think that we've got here is that the U.S. is going to be able to experiment with all of these laws, and crime's going to go down regardless, right?
Oh,
Crime's on the way down. So you guys are going to go ahead and legalize silencers.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
No. Cans.
It's burning Trevor up. Maybe you guys are going to get national concealed carry all the way across the states, or at least reciprocity.
Yeah, that's the one I was going to bring up. There are 4 different bills that's going through the House and Senate right now. I'm not really up on each one of them, but that is definitely one that he has even mentioned earlier on in the campaign that he would like to see. And, and obviously that whole thing, makes a lot of sense. Now, I'm not 100% sure if he wants to attack it from the federal route or let the states do what they're doing and just say you have to recognize across state borders, because that's the way it is with driver's license in the United States. They recognize each state is responsible for taking care of that. And then the other states have reciprocity on the driver's license, so you can drive in their state just like you can in your own. And so that to me would work better, because you still have the state power, versus if you just came out and said, okay, all U.S. citizens, bam. And we already should have that anyway, because it's our right. But the thing about it is I think that the federal government may have more power on that, and it needs to be with the states more. So, but there are four laws now, of bills rather, that are in the House and Senate. I'd have to look them up. Can't call them off the top of my head. And then of course, one of the things they want to do is kind of streamline the NICS, the background check that they do now, and allow that to.
You know what would do that? Licensing.
Well, we don't want that.
Think about it for a second. Part of our registry is gone.
Mm-hmm.
We all have a license. We have the same privilege that you have with your CCW.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if everyone had a firearms license, not necessarily a CCW, but a firearms license, boom, they just walk in, flash the card, walk out with a gun. Why? I don't understand why.
Or get it in the mail.
Or get it in the mail,
well, no, that's a different thing. But you want to
Well,
talk about...
you need licensing to do that, right? You can't just mail like anyone a gun. You need licensing to do that, or something to do that.
Yeah,
and I mean,
you can get guns in the mail though, but then it's got to go to an FFL. This, that, the other thing. But he's talking about streamlining the NICS process, the background check that the FBI do at the point of sale. Well, if everybody just went out and got a gun license, that whole thing would go away.
Well, it would. And I guess if you combine that, like you say, with a national CCW, I mean, I guess that's a potential avenue to do it that way. I still would like to see it done more from the state side.
Yeah, and there's probably like 1 million people just yelling at the radio right now at us suggesting licensing for everyone.
Yeah, when you said that, I like something got real tight there for a second.
Yeah, but it's
because licensing is basically where you have a right, they take it away from you and sell it back to you. So
like they did with your CCW.
Yeah, so we have enough of those already. Personally, it ought to be constitutional carry all the way across the board. And if you want to go buy one, you buy one. You want to carry it concealed out of that loaded from the second you bought it, feel free, And then another one of the things is something I am interested in I'm interested in all of them, but this too, specifically, the importation of collectible historical firearms. So, we've got all these M1 carbines that are in like Korea, and we've been trying to get them back here to the U.S. And the Obama administration's been saying, they taunted us there for a while. Oh, you can get them back. And then boom, no, So it just was a situation where, those would find their way back to American land.
Makes no sense. In
people
Canada,
would be making money,
In Canada, semi-automatic long guns are restricted to 5-round capacity, except for the M1 Garand. I can have it, and it's actually exempt by law for the capacity restriction. I can have it, and I can have it at its full regular 8-round capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys have to, doesn't make sense. Your rifle.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I mean, and a lot of times, if you look just from state to state, I mean, here I've had a CCW since 1995. I carry from that day forward as much every day, all day long as I possibly can. And then, but I drive to another state where it's not allowed. All of a sudden, I'm a criminal.
Yeah.
Or I go to a school here in North Carolina. They just passed a law. Thank goodness, because we have a conservative General Assembly now. But they just passed a law. It used to be you couldn't even take a firearm anywhere close to the campus of any school whatsoever. And so like you're concealed carrying all day long. You go to work. Whether you can take it into work based on what their policy is, whatever. But then you get back in your car, you drive to the school. You can't park or pick your child up on school property because you have that firearm in the car if you want it to be legal.
And that just doesn't apply to your CCW, big jack in the holster.
Right.
That applies to your 270 hunting rifle.
Exactly. No firearms whatsoever, period. And of course, I remember, in high school, we'd go hunting, after school. And we would, everybody have hunting rifles in their vehicles, and people would walk up and, hey, look at this one. You take it out of the parking lot, during lunch. People are checking it out, and nobody thought anything about it. And so
we need to come back to something though, because I don't want our listeners who aren't up on American gun laws to think that you're not allowed to have M1 carbines, and you're not allowed to have M1 Garands. You want to talk about what we're, specifically what we're talking about here?
Yeah,
you are allowed,
You can have them. Oh yeah, all day long, as long as you're in the United States.
Yeah,
but it's the importing, right? It's importing back into the United States. So what they did is they kept it off American soil, even though we've got them all over the place here. They've kept them off American soil. So the hope obviously would be that'll be done with. They'll bring them back in. I would assume they go through the Civilian Marksmanship Program, the CMP, and distribute them in the same fashion that they did surplus of the M1 Garands.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Whose hands are they in? Are they in the Korean?
I think the Koreans.
Hands?
Yeah, and they wanted to give them back to us. They're like, I mean, if I recall correctly from what I read, if not, I apologize for getting it wrong. But from what I read and have been talking about all these years about that is they were like, here, we want you to take these things back. And then, we'd be getting them back. And then I think they actually made it on the water somewhat. And then they turned them around and said no. But, not just that, but if you look at, I don't know specifically, but Russia, as far as purchasing Russian firearms and importing those in, like the AK style rifles, they have, and the ammunition, if I'm not mistaken, the ammunition as well. They're actually putting some type of block on that as well. So hopefully that'll open up too, and we'll be able to get those type of firearms over here as well. Because there are a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of good stuff, like coming from Russia and Israel and the like, that we'd love to get our hands on, but you can't get it because they're not going to sell it over here. I mean, even some of the Chicom stuff, like the Norenko stuff, you can't purchase. I know they just came out with, or starting to come out with, there's a kind of I guess a rumor going around. I've seen some pictures where they have one that's very AR lookish, and
Yeah.
So I don't know, if you want to buy Chinese or whatever, but a lot of people do. And it's not whether we should or not, it's if we can, and so hopefully a lot of that stuff's going to go away. But those M1 carbines, yeah, I'd love to get one of the original ones of those, because you can purchase M1 carbines. They're being made by, like, Auto Ordnance makes one, but you're like talking about close to $2,000 to get one. Yeah. Where these, they're going to have different grades of the rifle, just like they did the M1 Garands through the CMP, and they'll be able to get like a rack grade versus a service grade versus something that's in better shape. And so the prices will be staggered in that manner. But then, I could hopefully buy a crate of them, and just have them. I mean,
It wouldn't be the first crate of guns you bought.
That's exactly right. I like buying big.
Yeah.
Well, that's where you get your savings.
Well,
yeah, that's exact power buying.
You hand pick a couple. If you're normal, you hand pick a couple and you sell off the other ones. If you're doc, you just keep the whole crate.
Yeah, I say, well, how much are these again? How many do you have? I remember one time I went, there's around here in North Carolina, not Century Arms. Oh, they're in Indian Trail, North Carolina. Forgive me, I buy from them all the time. I can't think right now, but they really do sell a lot of at good prices of surplus and things like that they get, AKs and stuff like that from different countries. And you get them, man. I remember going up and the guy, I think, standing at a gun show, and the guy behind the counter, the table, was probably the guy's dad or something. And I walked up and they had some M38 Mosins, right? And so I wanted to get a few of those. And so, he had it there, and I said, cut the tie off this so I can look at the bolt, because I couldn't get to where I could see the serial numbers on these things. I want to see if they're matching up and all. Oh, he went nuts. He's like, oh, this is not like a regular hunting rifle. I said, yeah, I know what I'm doing here. Just let me. He cut it and I said, how many do you have? Because it's hard kind of to get the M38s around here. M44s were more popular, but I didn't want that. I didn't want the pig sticker on it, and so I just wanted to go ahead and get what I could. So I got out of a crate. Went out with a crate. But the thing is, you got, when you get them in the crates, you got to clean all that cosmoline off. So there's issues everywhere you go. But it's good to have them. And like you say, power buying gets you better prices, and you get more popular too. People love you.
Yeah. Oh, it's you. You're the guy that buys the guns by the crate.
And I like this. Even now, I'll mention it on the show sometimes, and they'll go, I'll get emails, and they'll be like, would you be willing to like sell some of those? Like, I'm going to give them an incredible deal or something, Of
course.
So, no, don't come in asking that me. I don't know. Yeah. But at any rate, but yeah, it's hopefully Trump, we're looking, for it to be positive. We know what she was going to do. We know how we were, and that just is disastrous. And you've got the Supreme Court. I mean, you've got so much that is at stake with her, and we could have just destroyed anything about the Second Amendment whatsoever that's afforded to us. And I'm glad it didn't go that way. It wasn't my preference, but from what I see out of what he said about these things, these 5 things, and they're looking at possibly getting those in like the first 100 days. I mean, that's like the benchmark. How'd you do in the first 100 days as president? So no more than maybe 180 days. So I think that these are attainable, that they can do. And a lot of it can be done, with the pen and the phone. And hopefully we can get some of the stuff going in that direction. If he does that, he will definitely have the backing of the NRA, the masses that are members. And, he would assure himself, I think, if he wanted another, as long as he doesn't just screw up in other areas, I think, but it would give him probably another term. I don't know. His age, he's starting to get a little older, but.
I was blown away. He's 70 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's she's what, 69, I think. She was 69. He looks younger than she does.
Big time. Well, I mean, she's been dead for 5 years. But...
yeah, they need to go on and finish embalming her.
Yeah.
So
I had no idea he was 70.
Yeah, 70 years old. Yeah. And got like a 10-year-old. Them boys swim.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as Canadians, we're definitely excited watching it because there's kind of two things here. There's you guys are going to legalize all this stuff, and that's going to, provide kind of a benchmark for us where, hey, why do we have all these restrictions when the Americans did it? They legalized suppressors all across the nation, and, crime didn't do anything. And they got concealed carry, and nothing happened.
Well, it did happen. It went the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah. And so it's going to be exciting for us for that. It's also going to be exciting that we're going to have all of our supplies, because last time when Obama got elected AR-15 parts were impossible to find around here. I remember building an AR-15 and be like, well, I need an upper. These guys have some, so I guess it's that one because that's what's available.
Yeah. The boat carrier group you want is the one you're going to find.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So we're real excited to know that there's not going to be a big panic buy, and we're going to get nothing up here for the next 6 to 12 months.
Exactly. Well, I mean, it just, I could just feel it. People were talking about, what are you going to buy? What are you going to buy? And I'm like, I'm just going to sit still here because I've timed it right. I've never gotten really caught up in that. Of course, if you have a bunch of stuff to begin with, you can wait.
Well, look at what happened with AR lowers. Mm-hmm. Knockoff, no-name brand lowers. Mm-hmm. Like, I think it was maybe even your show that the story was told about somebody paying $450 for. Yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, as a matter of fact, like the human resource manager at work where I work at is VP, and he decided he wanted to get into firearms. I mean,
this is the guy. Yeah, this
found
is
out for me. Yeah, we went and we got it, and I mean, it just was. He was trying to piece these things together and the prices he was paying and all that. And I said, just settle down, man. Well, I want to get this. And I said, but just wait till it passes. Things will settle down. You're going to be in good shape if you do that. Okay. I said, you'll be able to put together what you want. You'll have the availability of different types in different manufacturers across. Well, I don't want to do this. And so he did. And of course he's sitting on expensive stuff that's now not as expensive. So, he lost money on it. And then other people, friends of mine, like go out and buy these things. And the ARs, of course, is the most prevalent that they want, and go out and get the ARs and pay $2,000 for something that should be like $500 or $600, and they go out and purchase the firearm that way and then come back and never shoot it. They went and panic purchased it because they wanted to have it if they ever needed it. That's what they always, if I ever need one. Well, if you want one, you need one. So, they're out with that. I spent like $2,200 on it. And I'm like, man, that's really, when times are good, that's $500-$600 right there, And, of course they keep it, and then times get better. And then they realize, well, I'm not really going to shoot this that much anyway, because they just panicked about it. And then they're trying to get rid of it. And you can pick up some good deals, based on that too. There's people that are out there that have them. And, that's what I was doing. I was waiting until they realized they really screwed it up. And they're like, they want the money they paid for it. And I'm like, look, I'm telling you, you're not even going to get what they're selling this for at the gun stores. So why don't you just knock another 100 and I'll take it from you right now off of what the gun store price, would be.
Yeah.
So
definitely. It'll be good to, it'll be good to see 22 long rifle get back down to the price it's supposed to be.
I'm telling you, man. And there was a time you couldn't even find it. I mean, 45 and 40 were everywhere.
Yeah. But not 9mm, not 22.
9mm, no, and 22. No way. I went one time to purchase 22s and 9mm, and I drove I don't know, 6, 7, 8 different gun stores. And it started getting to be where it was, it was crazy because it was a tank of gas just to go to a few of them, And so I thought, well, I'll just stick with what I've got and start shooting off what I have. And the thing was, then it started coming back with the 9mm and all. And I started thinking, there is a case. People always say 9mm is the way to go. Why would you even? Well, there's a case for having those other calibers because when this happens, you have the availability to get the ammunition for it. I mean, those things were stocked like crazy, 40s and 45s and even 10mm, you could find. But it's kind of crazy. I mean, it just, I don't know.
Primers as well. I'm hoping that primers go down in price. When I got into this game, and no matter what price I throw at you, you're going to think it's ridiculous because it's just the difference in the dollar and availability and all that. But I used to buy 5,000 federal primers for $190.
Oh boy!
Out the door.
Oh boy!
Yeah. Now I think I paid $230 this summer for the same product.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
And what are you going to do? You need them, right? I mean,
yeah.
If you're a competition shooter, you have to reload, and if you want to be competitive, you have to shoot.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Well, up here in Canada, we're definitely excited watching what's happening down in the U.S. because it should mean that things are going to be good for gun manufacturers. It should be good for ammo manufacturers. We should get a lot more product up here, and it should be better for the environment all around. So we're really excited about it.
Same here. I might just go buy one for the heck of it now. And the thing is, like I said, I think there's probably they've gone and they've purchased these and had them in stock, and now they've got these units sitting around, and might be able to get some deals. It might be the exact opposite now. So it might be a good time to go buy. I'm thinking about that myself.
Yeah, well, I know some buddies of mine that bought crates of 223. So
that's the way.
I mean, it's not a bad thing. If they got a good deal, then why not, right?
That's right. Look, my motto is: if you're going to go purchase, take a hand truck. Take a hand truck. You just never know.
Yeah,
you never know. So
anyway. Get a crate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to thank you again for coming on, Doc. That was
you bet.
That was great. You know what? Like a lot of us, we kind of know what's happening in the States, but we don't have our ear to the ground like someone who lives there does, right? We don't know some of the laws and some of the history that you guys have had coming up and what's going forward. How do people find you online? How do they listen to your show?
Yeah, we try to do a weekly show, but if you go to GunnNation, GUNNATION.US. It works in Canada. It's US, but it works in Canada. You go there and you can download all our shows. We have my show. We've got a few co-hosts along with me, and as you alluded to, I've been around doing the show. I was probably like maybe the fourth podcaster as far as firearms go to come out, and or maybe fifth, somewhere in that range. I was one of the first ones, and still kind of kicking around,
Yeah, not a lot of those shows are still with us.
Right. We've had a lot to go, but we've had a whole lot to pick up too. I mean, they're just immediately broke out. I mean, it's like all of a sudden 100, different shows. But we've been around a while. My angle, we try to put like an industry spin on it. So you're going to hear about, the industry, how it relates to the firearm manufacturing, things like that. I'm big on science. We do a lot of stuff like that. Do some special things as well. We try to have a good, like we're doing here, have a fun time. We sometimes we're real, rigid as far as the structure of the show, and other times we just do whatever. So it's a good hodgepodge, I guess, of things. And we do reviews. We do, talk about training and the like too. So we've enjoyed doing it for a long time and having a good time. But yeah, if you go to gunnation.us, you can check it out, subscribe, and download all the podcasts.
Fantastic. Thanks for coming on, Doc. Always a pleasure to have you every 3 years. And I think that's a good number. I think every 3, because let's face it, he spoke 3 years worth of content. So, no? Yep. Nothing? All right. You guys are
we got nothing. It's late at night.
It's very late at night.
All right. Oh, my God. It's midnight.
Yeah.
Listener feedback.
We don't have any. Thank you for listening. Good night. No?
Tired.
All right, fine. Let's get okay. I'll read Spencer's.
I was going to say, Matthew, why don't you read Spencer's?
All right, this comes from Spencer. That was too close.
Great job, Matthew.
I did
I'll
it.
take the next one.
That is the shortest email ever, and
From
especially
Spencer.
From Spencer.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're right, Spencer, that was too close.
Yeah, the next one we have here is from Keenan. Hey, guys and gal. I am looking to get into IPSC, and I was thinking it would be a good idea to get a training handgun to mimic my competition gun, as I would be buying these new and do not already own a handgun that I would use for competition. I was hoping you could recommend a good pairing, kind of like wine and steak, but louder and more fun. As an example, I was thinking of M&P 9 and an M&P 22.
Yeah,
Thanks.
do that one.
I think Trevor answered this guy here.
Well, I did, so
Yeah.
I'll sum it up quicker than the long email. But basically, a lot of IPSC shooters, seems to me, new IPSC shooters, think that this is a good idea.
It really isn't.
No, nobody actually ever follows through and does it. None of the competitive IPSC shooters that we know are doing this. They're going to the range, they're practicing with their primary. They're not going with a clone 22 version of their IPSC gun. I think it's a good idea. I was going to even do it for my classic gun, but I never actually followed through with it.
I don't know if it really is a good idea. I think a lot of people would take their 22 and go out and start ripping off double taps and doing ridiculously fast shooting, and that's not going to help you at all because you're not getting any of the recoil management down.
The timing will not be there. You're right. If you spend all week practicing with a 22 and then break out your 9mm or your 40 on the weekend, the timing and the rhythm isn't going to be there.
No, you need to practice with what you're going to shoot with. Now, that being said, a 22 pistol is a great idea for introducing new people to the sport, and also if you have the discipline to slow down and do, it's basically cheap or expensive dry firing. So you're shooting, it's not costing you a lot. The only thing that you're not training is your recoil, but if you can, practice your trigger press, your sight alignment, fine, that's great. But I don't think that you're going to be able to take a 22 clone of your full-size pistol for IPSC and then train with it and expect to become better and faster. You're better off just spending the extra money to buy 9mm ammo or 40mm ammo or whatever. 40mm. Told you it was late. 40 cal ammo or whatever it is you're shooting, and just practice with what you're actually going to shoot in competition. That's the better option. Get a 22 pistol, fine, but more than likely you're going to use it for plinking and having fun, non-serious shooting, and then use your full size for serious shooting.
Well, I mean, if you reload for your 9mm too, like the ammo's pretty cheap. Like 22 ammo these days is right around 10 cents a round.
Yeah, it's getting pretty expensive.
What's reloaded 9mm? It's not that much more.
There's no question, because I collect my own brass, and if I cast my own 9mm bullets, I'm shooting 9mm for less than 22. But you have to get set up for that. But if you live in an apartment, that's not practical.
But still, with the cost of ammo these days, you're not gonna be able to buy a 22 pistol and train with 22 and come out ahead financially. Mm-mm. At least not to any sort of extent where buying that second pistol was a good idea to save the money. You're not gonna save the money. Just shoot the center fire ammo. Get your 22 pistol, because I think everybody needs a 22 pistol. That's just one of the things you need to have. But you use it for what it's good for, and that's, like I said, bringing new people into the sport, just having fun at the range, plinking, whatever.
The only thing I can think of would be trigger control. Watching the front sight while pressing the trigger. Yep. You're going to get a bang. You're going to get a recoil, and it's going to maybe help you overcome a flinch that you might have. But other than that, I don't know.
Yeah, and you really don't need an exact replica of your full-size gun to get that, because pressing the trigger on any gun is going to help you press the trigger on any other gun. I mean, being able to press the trigger is it doesn't matter. In fact, it should be heavier, grittier, longer, and crappy on your practice 22 pistol than it would be on your regular one, because that's going to help you with your regular one. Anyway, I don't want to talk you out of getting an M&P 9 and an M&P 22. If that's what you want, go ahead and get it. It's a great idea. Let us know how it goes.
The beauty of the M&P and then the Glock with the conversion kit is you're not going to change holsters, you're not going to change mag pouches. So there's that. But again, at the end of the day,
Well, I did used to have the Advantage Arms conversion kit for my Glock, not the current Glock, the first Glock I owned, and I found that I would go to the range and I would be shooting the 9mm, and this is back before I even know how to shoot. So anyway, I'm all flinchy and whatever, so I switch over to the 22, and I'm shooting it for a while, and just the time it took me to take the slide off and put the other one back on, change the mags, this and that, I was like, I should just have a second gun. It would be so much better, so much faster. And so I ended up just buying a second gun. The conversion kit, yeah, it worked okay, but I think you're better off for the price of them. Definitely just buy a second gun.
Yeah, with the Glock one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is literally the cost of the MMP 22, and there's the MMP makes one, Walther makes one. I don't know of any other ones that are really close like that, like the Walther PPQ and the Walther P22.
I don't know. I don't know.
The MMP, but I think those are the only two.
I would. This is what I'd recommend. I'd recommend finding the gun that you want. Don't worry if it has a 22 clone or not. Don't worry if it has a conversion kit or not. Buy the gun that you want, and then do some research and get a Ruger or a Buckmark or a Colt Woodsman, that style clone of 22 pistol, because those things are phenomenal. They got great triggers, very accurate, very reliable. They got a good following. There's aftermarket parts and support up the yin yang for them. Get one of those, and then you have like the best 22 pistol plus the gun that you want for your centerfire. Don't worry about them being clones of each other. Just get a really good, high quality 22 and a good centerfire.
Do you still have one?
No, the only 22 pistol I have right now is that Beretta that I won at the Nationals.
Yeah, I don't have one anymore either. Adro, do you have one?
I just said I do have one.
You
just said either.
No, I mean like other than your Beretta, because that's like a different animal.
No, I actually sold my
45
Ruger, 2245, because I got this other, and I love this Beretta. It's what I like in a 22. Super small, compact. I mean, that's just what I've always wanted. But I didn't need the 2245 anymore when I got that. But no, the Ruger 2245 is fantastic, or the Buckmark.
Buckmark's really nice.
Yep.
If I could hunt with one, I'd have one. I can't, so I don't.
Oh, but there's so much fun at the range.
Yeah.
Nah, I show up to the range with my 9mm and a box full of reloaded ammo. That's so cheap that I don't even care. So
it's true.
Yeah. Kelly,
Yes.
you got one?
No, I just get mine from Kevin on girlfriend discount. So I have
got one?
Yeah, he's got an MP 22. I love it.
Oh, good. Well, there
And then
you
I
go.
can switch to the MP 9, which I love as well.
Yep.
But yeah, the MP 22 is great for just plinking, having fun at the range. Yep. So
that is a good combination, though, Keenan.
Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't hesitate an MMP 9 and an MMP 22. I've shot them both. I've done review. I've only owned one of them, but I've shot the MMP 22 quite a bit. Great, they're fine. They work great. So if you want a big brother little brother kind of gun combination there, that's that's an option for sure.
Oh, the other thing you can do is buy the MP 9 and do dry fire. That way he doesn't have to spend the money on.
Oh, but like I said, you got to own a 22 pistol. It's like a rule. It's a rule. Get a 22 pistol, Keenan. I don't care what you get, but get one and then send me pictures of it. And
yet,
I love guns.
Almost none of us have one. But Keenan needs one.
Yes, he does. Well,
right.
it's one of these do as we say, not as we do kind of situations.
Exactly. But we've all had them.
Yeah.
I've had two.
you don't lose money on it too. I mean, you buy a used 22, you shoot it until you're at a point where you're comfortable with your pistol shooting, and you go to a 9 and you sell it, and you lose no money.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that you're going to be able to give somebody like an average-sized person a 22 pistol and expect them to progress faster than they would if you had just given them the 9mm to start with. They're going to be fine with the 9mm right off the bat.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The average 9mm does not have that much recoil.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. But
It really doesn't.
There's this whole psychological aspect to it. If you tell somebody this is a 22 and you show them the tiny little bullet, for the really nervous Nelly, well, I suppose you said average. Yeah, you said average.
I
did.
I did say average. Yeah,
fair enough.
Look at that. Yeah.
All right. Are we good to move on?
I think so.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Cool. Please. Kelly, it's not even midnight where you are. All right.
I
so
know.
if you would like to send us emails to argue over, you can do so by sending them to slamfireradio@gmail.com. Let's see. Please go to iTunes. We don't have a new one this week, but we do have 144 5-star reviews so far. 110 from Canada, 30 from that place, 1 from over there, and then a couple from somewhere else. We're going to read it no matter what, so I'm going to skip that part. Anybody have any shout-outs?
No.
All right, then. And no new Patreon supporters this week.
Yes,
there's
we
one.
do.
One where?
Oh, my
new.
goodness.
Under new, where it says new, right there where it says new, Kelly, that one? Robert K. Robert K is in for 223.
Nice.
Thanks. And that's as of right on November 10th. How could we read it
that's
yesterday?
today.
That's today. All right, then.
Actually, technically it's yesterday now because it's midnight for us.
Exactly. All right.
Such.
Okay.
Remember how you were saying we weren't going to make the ending all awkward?
Please join one or more of our national firearms associations, such as the CCFR or the CSSA. It's important to support those who support us. Check us out on Gun Owners of Canada. Like us on Facebook. We have 1,548 likes. We read that every week because we like to brag. 116 thumbs up, 26 gold stars, and counting. 2 flukes, 4 mini flippers, 2 kangaroo thumbs, 1 safe space, 1 HK logo, 2 hobbit thumbs, 5 duck bills, 2 squirrel nuts, 2 honks, 2 nice 11 triggers, 1 ace of spades, a cartridge in a pear tree, and a pheasant on a pine tree. What the... All right, that's all I got. Good night, everybody.
So if you have any comments or questions for the show, please send an email to slamfireradio@gmail.com. Now go grab a gun and shoot something.
When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.
No, you're not ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Well, he didn't
That's
reply.
like Ipsic. We're not supposed to say anything.
Good for you. Hello and welcome to episode 180 of Slamfire Radio for November 11th. Happy Remembrance Day.
Do you really want to say that?
Are you supposed to say Happy Remembrance
Threw me right
Day?
off. Yeah, that fucked me right up.
Yeah, let's try that again.
Yeah, a
All
little
right,
too
so
excited
not-
to say Happy Remembrance Day, everybody.
Happy Remembrance Day!
It's not Valentine's Day or Christmas. Or... Okay, here we go.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello?
No, you
Hello?
go first. No, you what?
Huh?
Hello?
Is this thing on?
Who is this?
Is this thing on?
Get out of here.
What's going on, eh? Beauty, eh? It's beauty.
Oh, I should have had that recording. That would have been great.
You don't have it recording?
That's great, eh?
I do now.
Let me check and see if mine's recording. Oh, look, I'm
That's
recording a call.
Yay!
I do have
What's
it
going on,
recording.
Doc?
Oh.
Wait. Let me try that again. What's up, Doc?
Oh, no.
Never heard that one before, have you?
No.
That one's brand new.
Yeah.
I can tell because I thought of it.
Yeah.
All of my jokes
You
are-
were the first Canadian to ever do it for me.
Oh,
Beauty, eh?
Beauty. What a hoser. Oh, crap. Let me find Trevor here and add him.
I saw him come up.
Yeah, me too.
Oi, Vay. Oi.
Say-
Why am I on hold?
Broke it. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hello? I
Hello?
broke it. I'm back.
Hello.
Hello.
Trevor,
Most
stop it.
people with mental problems are not violent. They just need
Let me take
help.
this. I'm gonna take this pickle suit off real quick. Hold on.
And these reforms will help everyone.
Trevor,
Yes.
don't try to add yourself to the call. I will call you.
Okay. 99% of the time, I host the call. A. B.
Yeah, I just hung up on him.
Matthew, you're my hero.
That'll be a note take.